All right, stats, we just want to talk about one extra thing today, and this actually isn't necessarily perfectly aligned with what we're doing, but it's one other visual for this idea of bias and variability. We have in front of us a few, what would they be called? Dartboards, right? And the goal is to hit that X in the center, right? This is the ultimate goal. And so what would it look like for my shots to have high bias and low variability, or low bias and low variability? Well, let's talk about it. To be extremely biased means to be on one side, over either an overestimate or an underestimate. But for the most part, to be biased means just one-sided. So to have a high bias means that I'm going to be either all above the goal or all below the goal. And to have low variability, well, remember, variability is how things differ. So to have low variability means there's not going to be a lot of differences. So an example of a bunch of shots that have high bias but low variability could look like this. All of my aims are a little high, but they're pretty close together. Similarly, if we want to look at high bias and high variability, all of my values are going to be above what I want, but a little bit spread out. So maybe something like this. High bias and high variability. If we then consider the other two, which is the best? Well, we mentioned in class that we don't want a lot of variability. We want the spread to be small, and we don't want bias. Low bias and low variability is the best. So this right here is going to be our ultimate goal for when you're aiming at something. You want all your values to be close to it, and maybe some above, maybe some below, but ultimately close. And last but not least, low bias and high variability means I have some above, some below, but none are really very close to one another. This is not, and I said this at the beginning, this is not really, you won't see this on the AP exam, but it is one representation that maybe will help you understand bias and variability a little more. Thanks for watching.